Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows over the dense, tangled underbrush of what had once been a thriving civilization. Levi crouched low among the remnants of ancient stonework, brushing aside moss and debris that had claimed the old temple as its own. His heart raced as he imagined the secrets buried beneath the layers of time. It was not merely the thrill of discovery that drove him, but an insatiable hunger for meaning in his own existence. Stumbling upon the temple was no coincidence. Hearsay about its existence had whispered through archaeological circles for decades, but few had been brave enough to tread into the overgrown depths of the forest. Legend spoke of Penelope, the alien goddess who had once graced this land, a being made of starlight and wisdom, forever cast in stone by the weight of her own sacrifice. Levi's fingers danced over the engraved symbols etched into the weathered stone walls. They told a story he hoped to decipher, one buried under centuries of forgetting. The moon hung heavy in the sky as he lit a small lantern, its flickering light illuminating the regal features of Penelope, a statue that appeared to gaze into eternity. Her eyes, though made of stone, seemed vibrant, full of unspent energy, waiting for someone to unlock it. He paused, captivated by her beauty. Intricate carvings of alien flora adorned her swan-like neck, and her delicate hands were poised as if she would reach out at any moment. A chill washed over him as he shivered in the twilight. There was something undeniably alive about her. "Forever a statue, aren't you?" Levi murmured, a hint of sadness seeping into his voice. The stillness wrapped around him like a shroud, and he instinctively reached for the weathered parchment in his pack, a map scribbled with old legends and tales of the goddess. One line stood out among the rest: "Speak her name, and she shall awaken." His heart raced at the audacity of it. Could it truly be that simple? "Would you awaken for me, Penelope?" he asked softly, half expecting the wind to carry his words away. He cleared his throat, summoning his courage. "Penelope!" Silence. His breath caught in his throat, hope fluttering in his chest. He gazed into her stone eyes, searching for any sign of life. What if this was a fool's errand? He was just a man, insignificant against the weight of time and memory. And yet, "Penelope!" he called again, louder, stronger, feeling the words reverberate with purpose. The air around him grew heavy with anticipation. Then a tremor, a crackling sound echoed throughout the chamber. Levi stumbled backward, heart pounding. The statue's eyes, those deep obsidian orbs, began to glimmer with a faint light, and Levi held his breath. Suddenly, a rush of energy coursed through the air. The stone fractured, crumbling away to reveal a radiant figure beneath. As Penelope blinked, humanity and divinity collided, and the temple seemed to hum with life. Light enveloped her form, flaring brighter and brighter until it burst forth, illuminating the room in blinding brilliance. Levi shielded his eyes, and when he dared to look again, Penelope stood before him, her figure tall and ethereal, the stone crumbling to dust around her feet. She took a tentative step forward, her gaze locked upon him, filled with curiosity and confusion. Where am I?" she asked, her voice melodic and otherworldly, filled with wonder. Levi stammered, at a loss for words, the reality of his discovery settling in. "You're alive. You were a statue, and I woke you up." Penelope's brow furrowed in confusion. "Woke me? But I was sleeping for 1,000 years." A mix of emotions flooded Levi's heart, awe, thrill, and an undeniable attraction to the vibrant being now standing before him. "Welcome to the future, Penelope," he replied, a smile breaking through the astonishment. "Let me show you what the world has become." As she took another step toward him, the air crackled with potential, and Levi realized he had unlocked a connection that would go far beyond simply awakening a goddess. Unbeknownst to him, their journey would transcend time itself and delve into the depths of love and discovery between worlds. Levi couldn't help but study Penelope as she stood before him, a living embodiment of legends long whispered through the ages. Her eyes sparkled with an otherworldly light, and her features were framed by cascading waves of shimmering hair that seemed to flow like liquid silver, reflecting the lantern's glow. In that moment, She was as much a part of this ancient temple as the stone structures around them, yet undeniably separate, alive and vibrant. Is this truly the world I once knew? Penelope marveled, her voice lilting and melodic, tinged with both wonder and sorrow. The temple is alive with nature again, but the air is strange. Levi hesitated, trying to find the right words. It's been a millennium since you were last awake. The world has changed. This forest hides the ruins of what was once powerful. Humanity has grown, expanded, and evolved. Penelope gazed around, absorbing the crumbling vines and twisted roots that had reclaimed the temple. There was beauty in the decay, yet a part of her mourned for the past, a past filled with bustling life and celestial energy. "And what of my people?" she asked quietly, the weight of her question hanging in the air. Levi felt a stab of sorrow for her loss. "I don't know. Your civilization vanished long ago, leaving tales in the stars. But I am here now, and you are free. Let me show you what has become of this world." Without a second thought, he reached for her hand, marveling at the warmth that radiated from her skin, a stark contrast to the cool stone he had imagined. She hesitated for a heartbeat, but then took his hand, her touch igniting something in him he had never felt before. Together, they stepped out of the shadow of the temple into the vibrant world beyond. The sun painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, casting a golden glow over the forest. Levi led her through the underbrush, feeling both exhilarated and terrified. What lay ahead? Would she thrive in this new world birthed from the past? As they walked, Penelope studied everything with childlike wonder. The birds, the rustling leaves, the distant sounds of other life, forms thriving a world far removed from her own. "It feels so alive," she breathed, her gaze drifting to the swaying branches above. "But the essence of the cosmos feels different. I can hardly define it." "You've been dormant for 1,000 years," Levi replied, squeezing her hand gently. "It'll take time to adjust. But you're not alone. I want to help you." She turned to him, and for a moment, the world around them disappeared. "Why did you wake me? You could have left me as I was, a relic of the past." He opened his mouth, but the words clashed in his mind. "Why, indeed? I suppose I felt drawn to you. The legend spoke of your wisdom, your beauty, but there was something deeper, a connection I can't explain." A faint smile graced her lips. "Perhaps fate has entwined our paths in ways we cannot yet see." They moved further through the forest, and soon the dense trees began to clear. Levi led her to a small clearing where sunlight danced on the surface of a tranquil pond. It shimmered as if infused with the magic of countless stars, drawing Penelope closer. "It's beautiful," she whispered, kneeling beside the water. She cupped her hands and took a sip, savoring the cool water that felt both foreign and welcoming. Levi watched in awe as she marveled at her reflection, an alien goddess reunited with her essence. "You should see the cities," he said after a moment. "Skyscrapers that reach the heavens, technology that once felt like magic, and cultures that celebrate diversity." At that, Penelope's eyes widened, a mix of excitement and trepidation lighting her gaze. "A world reborn, yet you say it is not without pain. What challenges do your people face?" "Many," Levi admitted, his expression darkening. "The balance of nature, the conflict for resources, and divisions among humanity. But I believe there is hope. Your awakening can be a beacon for many." Penelope stood, the determination in her gaze matching the strength of her voice. "Then let us walk this path together. Show me your world, and I will help you understand mine." As they stood side by side, the silence of the moment wrapped around them, a bond forming that neither had anticipated. The intimacy of their hands entwined signified a promise of shared journeys and struggles, and Levi felt a profound sense of purpose in that connection. But doubts lingered at the edges of his mind. What would happen when the truth of her extraordinary past unfurled? What weight would it place on their nascent bond? Yet the sunlight filtered through the trees, illuminating their path, a sign that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. With each step, the vibrant world unfolded before Penelope's eyes, a tapestry woven from the threads of time and evolution. Levi guided her through a landscape both foreign and familiar, filled with lush greenery, twisting paths, and the occasional glint of technology peeking through nature. "Tell me more about your kind," she inquired, her voice carrying a mixture of curiosity and caution. "How have you thrived while I lay in silence?" Levi took a deep breath, ready to unravel the tapestry of human existence. "We adapt. We innovate. My people face challenges every day. And just like your kind, we've made mistakes. But we've also learned. We cultivate our resources, cherish knowledge, and," he hesitated, a shadow crossing his expression, "we struggle against our darker impulses." "And what darker impulses are these?" Penelope pressed, intrigued. "We fight amongst ourselves for power, for resources, for reasons that can feel meaningless. In your time, you may have known peace in your realm, but we are constantly seeking it in a world that can be chaotic and unforgiving," Levi confessed, his voice lowering. She turned, compassion washing over her features. "You bear the weight of these conflicts. I feel it within you." As they continued their journey, Levi pointed out villages that thrummed with life, people bustling about, immersed in their daily rituals. Penelope observed, captivated by the kaleidoscope of emotions playing out before her: joy and laughter, conflict and resolution, love and loss. But just as they approached a wooden bridge that spanned a gentle stream, their momentary peace was shattered. A loud crash echoed from the nearby thicket, followed by frantic footsteps crashing through the underbrush. Levi's body tensed instinctively. "We should move. It could be dangerous." Before he could lead Penelope away, a figure burst forth, a man covered in dirt and sweat, wearing ragged attire. His eyes were wild, darting about with panic as he skidded to a stop in front of them. "Help! They're after me!" Penelope took a step forward, her expression resolute. "Who is after you?" "The Reclaimers," he gasped, breathless. "A group intent on rounding up anyone with abilities. They want to control us. To sell us." Levi exchanged a glance with Penelope, a silent communication passing between them. "We have to help him," she said firmly, a spark igniting within her eyes. "No, it's too risky," Levi urged, but Penelope was already moving towards the man, her intention clear. "They may already know we're here. If we let them find him alone, he could be lost to us forever," she insisted, and there was a steeliness in her voice that Levi had never encountered before. It drew him in, and he nodded slowly. "All right, take cover behind the trees," Levi instructed the man, who nodded fervently, retreating into the nearby foliage. Seconds passed like hours as tension thickened the air. Then, from the same thicket, a group of heavily armed individuals emerged, their gear gleaming, commanding, a stark contrast to the peaceful surroundings. Levi's heart raced, and yet, at the sight of Penelope, something inside him steadied. "Spread out. He can't have gone far." One of them barked, their voices cold and calculated. Penelope stepped in front of Levi, exuding an almost palpable energy. "We will protect him." "Penelope, wait." Levi hissed, but her determination had already taken root. With a flick of her wrist, a wave of shimmering energy seemed to emanate from her very being, casting an ethereal glow in the dim light of the forest. The Reclaimers halted, awe and confusion flickering in their eyes. "What the hell?" one of them muttered. "Leave this man be," Penelope commanded, her voice echoing with an innate authority that made the ground tremble beneath them. Levi watched, captivated yet fearful. She was no mere being awakened from stone. She was power incarnate, a goddess returning to confront her reality. The leader of the Reclaimers regained composure and narrowed his eyes. "You think you can intimidate us with some light show? We capture anyone with abilities, and you," he pointed a finger at Penelope, "you could fetch a high price." A growl of defiance rose within her. "I am not a possession. I am Penelope, and I will not allow you to harm anyone today." With that proclamation, the forest responded. Vines surged from the ground, winding around the feet of the Reclaimers, tangling them in a fierce embrace. Levi marveled at the display, but panic surged through him as he realized the risks of her powers. What would happen if she lost control? "Penelope, we need to," Levi called, but the words died in his throat as the leader broke free from the vines, wielding a weapon aimed at Penelope. "Stop, or I swear." "No," Levi shouted, stepping in front of her instinctively. "If you have to shoot, shoot me." Time seemed to freeze as the tension escalated, the world boiling with uncertainty. Penelope placed a hand on his shoulder, her presence calming yet fierce. "Stand back, Levi." The man smirked, emboldened. "You think a show of force will keep me at bay?" In an instant, Penelope's will surge forth. A blinding light erupted from her hands, mesmerizing yet unyielding. The forest seemed to hold its breath as it transformed into a wall of luminescence, encasing the reclaimers in pure energy. The sound of their screams echoed as they were expelled by the radiant power, left shouting in bewilderment as they were cast away, defeated. As the last remnants of chaos faded, Levi turned to Penelope, who looked shaken yet triumphant. "Are you all right?" he asked, concern lacing his tone. I am," she breathed, but there was an undercurrent of uncertainty within her voice. "I did not mean to unleash that much power." "You protected us. You protected him," Levi reassured, gratitude flooding his heart. Amidst the forest returning to its serene self, the man emerged from hiding, awe flooding his expression. You saved me. I can't believe it. You've given me my life back." Penelope smiled at him, though her eyes still held shadows of her uncertainty. "It is my duty to protect those who cannot protect themselves." But as Levi watched the man embrace his freedom, he felt the weight of their confrontation, one that reminded him that their struggles were just beginning. Penelope's awakening had set in motion not only the rekindling of ancient powers, but a new path, fraught with challenges they could not yet foresee. "Let us return to the temple," Levi suggested softly, sensing the need for respite, a moment to breathe and strategize. "We'll figure out our next steps together." As they made their way back, hand in hand, the promise of a future illuminated their path. The bond between them had deepened, forged by fire and forged anew through trials. But unsettled questions lingered in Levi's mind, overshadowed by the question of how far Penelope's powers might reach, and how much they would need to confront in a world unprepared for their union. The temple stood as a silent sentinel, its ancient stones bathed in silvery moonlight, inviting Levi and Penelope back into its embrace. The battles they had faced that day left echoes reverberating through the hallowed halls, mingling with the age-old wisdom embedded in each crack and crevice. As they entered, the weight of exhaustion settled heavily upon them. Levi led Penelope to the central chamber, where the statue of her former self had crumbled to dust. Now, in its stead, she stood, a living testament to the power of rebirth. "Are you all right?" Levi asked, watching Penelope as she absorbed her surroundings with a quiet intensity. The flickering lanterns cast playful shadows across her features, highlighting her ethereal beauty. Yet he sensed a storm swirling beneath her calm surface. "I am processing," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "So much has changed. My powers feel both exhilarating and frightening. I never wished to wield such force, yet it was necessary." "It was necessary," Levi echoed, his heart heavy with understanding. "You saved that man's life. Your powers can protect and heal." "But at what cost?" She turned to him, her eyes searching his for answers he wasn't sure he possessed. "I feel the boundaries of my strength expanding, yet I am tethered to a world I don't fully understand. What if I lose control?" "Maybe we can figure it out together," he said, stepping closer, his sincerity filling the space between them. "I don't have all the answers, but I want to help you learn to harness that power. It's part of who you are." Penelope's gaze softened, a flicker of hope igniting within her. "You believe in me." "I do," he affirmed. "You're not just a force, you're Penelope, a person I want to stand beside. Together, we can navigate the chaos." She hesitated, a hint of vulnerability breaking through her composed facade. "I have been cast in the role of a protector, yet I know little of this world. And you, how do you see me? What do you truly want?" His heart raced as he felt the weight of her question. "I see you as someone who deserves a chance to discover who she is now. You have this incredible potential to inspire others, to lead. And for me," he paused, searching her eyes, "I want to learn from you, to share this journey with you. There's something about you that feels important, as if we're on the verge of something greater." Penelope's breath caught at his words, a hint of warmth radiating from her. "Greater? I do not even know the depth of my powers. How can I illuminate another's path when I am still finding my own?" "By being yourself," Levi urged gently. "You've already done so much. You showed courage today. Together, we can discover what it means to be a part of this world, a world that needs your wisdom." She nodded slowly, a tentative smile blossoming on her lips. "Together," she echoed softly, the word rolling like a sacred vow from her tongue. "I shall try." They shared a quiet moment, the serenity enveloping them as a comfortable silence settled in. Penelope stepped towards the remnants of her past, fingers brushing against the cool stone formations left intact. "This temple feels like a memory. I can almost hear the echoes of my past whispering in the wind." "What do you hear?" Levi asked, intrigued. "Voices of my people," she said, tilting her head as if listening intently. "They were once filled with love, laughter, and aspiration. Yet, I also hear the sound of loss, a deep ache for the absence of our light." Touched by her reflection, Levi stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You're here now. You carry their spirit with you. We can build something new, together, something that honors their legacy." As her gaze shifted to his, something profound sparkled in the air between them, a recognition of shared purpose, of intrepid hearts ready to take on the world, no matter how daunting it seemed. Suddenly, a distant sound pulled them from their reverie, a low rumbling, echoing through the forest, reverberating like a heartbeat. Penelope looked at Levi, her brow furrowing with concern. "What was that?" she asked, the air around them thickening with unease. "I don't know," he admitted, anxiety creeping into his voice. "But it might not be good." With determination blooming in her chest, Penelope firmly clasped Levi's hand, a gesture that spoke volumes. Their journey was beginning to unfold in ways they had not anticipated, leading them into the unknown. "Then let us prepare," she said, her voice resolute. "Whatever comes, we will face it together." Levi felt a rush of adrenaline as they stepped out of the temple and back into the night, hearts beating in sync. Whatever challenges lay ahead would test the bond they had forged, yet he believed that together, they could weather any storm. As they ventured into the shadows, Penelope looked at the stars scattered across the sky, a vast tapestry connecting past and future. In that moment, she understood. She was not merely a relic revived. She was a beacon of hope, ready to illuminate the darkness alongside a human who dared to look into the heart of an alien goddess. The night air buzzed with anticipation as Penelope and Levi stepped out of the temple and into the wild embrace of the forest. The rumbling they'd heard earlier seemed to signal a growing urgency, an unseen force drawing them closer to their shared destiny. "Do you feel it?" Penelope asked, her senses attuned to the vibrations of the earth beneath their feet. "There's an energy, a current that flows endlessly around us." Levi nodded, acknowledging the electric atmosphere. "It's as if the forest itself is alive, responding to us." They moved deeper into the woods, guided by the pulse of the land and an unspoken bond that drew them together. As the tree-line parted, a breathtaking view opened before them, an expansive meadow bathed in the silvery glow of the moon, wildflowers swaying softly in the gentle breeze. "It's beautiful," Penelope said, her eyes sparkling with wonder. Levi turned to her, captivated not only by the scenery, but by the radiant alien before him. "Penelope," he began, his voice low and earnest, "there's something I need to say." She stepped closer, curiosity piqued. "What is it?" "Since awakening you, I've felt a connection between us, something profound and primal," he confessed, his pulse quickening. "I can't explain it, but it feels like we are meant to be, to explore not just our worlds, but something deeper." Penelope's breath caught. "You speak of mating?" "Yes." Levi felt a rush of heat rise to his cheeks, the openness of his desire igniting an unfamiliar thrill. "I've never experienced anything like this before, but I feel a drawing of our souls, a call to unite in a way that defies the boundaries of time and space." A flicker of uncertainty crossed Penelope's face, but it was quickly replaced by an intensity he hadn't seen before. Mating is more than a physical union. It is a binding of spirits, a melding of existence. In my culture, it signifies the deepest level of trust and connection. Then let's build that trust together, Levi said, moving even closer, their breaths mingling in the night air. I want to explore this connection with you, to discover what it means to be united in body and spirit. Penelope's heart raced, the urge to succumb to the bond that pulled them together almost overwhelming. Then we must embrace the magic of our existence, she whispered, calling upon the ancestral energy that was woven into her very being. With a gentle tug, she brought Levi to the center of the meadow. Underneath the watchful gaze of the moon, she closed her eyes and allowed the essence of the earth to flow through her. As she channeled her energy, wildflowers began to bloom, surrounding them in a carpet of iridescent colors, pulsing with life. "What are you doing?" Levi asked, mesmerized by the scene. "I'm calling forth the power that binds us," she replied, focusing on the connection growing within her. "Together, we can invoke a union that transcends our individual selves." As she embraced her energy, Levi felt it resonate within him, his own spirit responding to the call of the cosmos. The air thickened with anticipation, each heartbeat echoing the rhythm of their mutual desire. Without thinking, he leaned closer, capturing her lips with his in a tentative kiss. The moment their mouths met, a wave of warmth surged through them, igniting an intense fire that left them both breathless. The kiss deepened, a dance of souls intertwining, each movement fanning the flames of their growing desire. Penelope responded with equal fervor, her hands entwining in his hair, pulling him closer as the world around them dissolved in the spark of their connection. The meadow pulsed with energy, echoing their emotions, a perfect symphony of life, harmonizing with the intensity of their bond. "Levi," she breathed against his lips, her voice trembling with both excitement and vulnerability. "Let us unite in body and spirit. Let us become one with the universe." He nodded, understanding the weight of her words and the significance of their union. As they lay amidst the flowers, the energy between them crackled with life. They had built a bridge between their worlds, each touch, each caress deepening their bond, intertwining their very essences. The stars above shone brighter, casting ethereal light over them as they surrendered to the magic of the moment. Each heartbeat resonated like a drum, echoing their commitment to one another, a commitment that defied the boundaries of their histories. As they surrendered to one another, they felt the teachings of her ancestors flowing through Penelope, and the hopes and dreams of humanity intertwining with Levi's own. It became a celebration of life, love, and the unknown, as both bodies and spirits danced in a rhythm older than time. In that sacred space, they sealed their union, becoming a part of each other and the universe around them, a testament to resilience, to the connections that transcend the boundaries of time and culture. They had embraced their destiny, forging a new path together, one that promised to light the way through the trials and challenges they would surely face. And as the night deepened around them, they became not just a human and an alien, but two souls interconnected in a way that would forever change their worlds. As the final traces of dawn crept over the horizon, the meadow awash in soft hues of pink and gold, Penelope and Levi awoke entwined in a cocoon of wildflowers. The night had been transformative, changing them both in ways they had only begun to understand. Their bond was no longer just a connection. It was an extension of their very souls. But as the warmth of the sun graced their skin, reality set in. They could not linger in this tranquil state forever. The world awaited, filled with challenges and uncharted paths. The echoes of the Reclaimers' threats lingered, reminding them that danger was still afoot. "We must prepare for what lies ahead," Penelope said softly, her fingers tracing the outline of Levi's jaw. "Our union has made us stronger, but it has also painted a target on our backs." "I know," Levi replied, nodding solemnly. "But together, we can face anything. We'll find a way to protect yourself and the others who might be at risk from the Reclaimers." Penelope rose, her alien grace exuding a quiet power that pulled at Levi's heart. As she stood amid the blooming wildflowers, he marveled at her beauty and strength, recognizing the divine essence within her that no threat could extinguish. We should seek shelter and allies, those who understand both worlds, she suggested, determination glimmering in her eyes. I can reach out to remnants of my kind, if they still exist, and you can rally your people. Levi felt a surge of hope. There may still be those among humanity who are eager for unity with the stars. We can build a coalition, not just us, but everyone who wishes to stand against oppression. As they made their way back to the hidden temple, Penelope began to channel her energy again, this time weaving through the ancient stones, awakening their wisdom and strength. Levi grasped the significance of it all. They weren't merely allies, they were a force to be reckoned with, weaving together the past and the future for something greater. When they reached the temple, they found the remnants of their earlier battle, patches of unearthed earth and scattered debris from the reclaimers. But it was also a space of potential, a sanctuary for them to forge their plans. Levi turned to Penelope, who was still connecting with the echoes of her past, her voice rising in harmonious tones as she called upon the spirits of her people. The air hummed, and for a moment, it felt as if the universe wrapped around them, an embrace that whispered promises of hope. In the face of darkness, let us become the light, she declared, her voice resonating through the temple, awakening the depths of its power. Together, we will unite our people, Levi added, feeling the conviction swell within his chest. We'll stand side by side, fighting for peace and understanding among all beings. Over the following days, they sent out messages through Penelope's ancestral connections, while Levi reached out to his colleagues and those who believed in the potential for coexistence. As word spread, more came to the elbow of the ancient temple, the brave who were willing to stand against the reclaimers and the injustices of the world. Under the guise of twilight one evening, they gathered everything they had learned and channeled their energies towards a common goal, a declaration of unity. It became a call to arms, a pledge to protect the innocent and seek alliances beyond their confines. As the last echoes of their gathering subsided, Penelope stepped forward, her presence commanding yet comforting. Today, we stand not as separate beings from different worlds, but as one. We will harness our strengths, learn from our histories, and weave a tapestry of cooperation. Together we will rise, together we will fight. And in that moment, as they all looked toward Penelope, as much a leader as she was a goddess, Levi felt a swell of pride and belonging wash over him. The days of solitude and longing were gone, replaced by connections that transcended beyond himself. Their journey would be fraught with obstacles. The reclaimers would not have extinguished themselves so easily. But Levi took comfort in the knowledge that they were united in purpose, bound by experiences that intertwined their fates. As they ventured forth into the horizon, hand in hand, Penelope and Levi transformed the glimmers of hope into promises of action, determined to forge a future where love triumphed over fear, where differences became strengths, and where species coexisted in harmony. They were no longer a human and an alien, but two hearts intertwined, united in their fight against the darkness, promising that whatever challenges came their way, they would face them together, forever committed to one another in their extraordinary journey. And as they moved towards the unknown, they understood their story was only just beginning.